Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel, I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt, fix several years of financial misbehaviour, and get back on track after a, let's just say, tumultuous April. There wasn't a video yesterday. I fully intended to film one, and I'd had about an hour's sleep the night before, which is not great. And then it was very much an up and down day in terms of finding out news very quickly and things changing and new options being added in, a couple of which I'll talk about today, a couple of which are related to kind of health stuff. So I'll just skirt around them. And I got to the point where me, the person who loves doing a to do list, and I got there and I don't know how to do a to do list. I don't even know where to start with this. What? And I just got so completely overwhelmed. I just went, I can't. I just need to kind of get under the blankets and just sleep. It was a combination of lots of things. Today I've got my Rendell mug, and he's one of my favourites. This is who I call Hammy Dodger. It's a hamster eating a jammy Dodger. So I love Rendell. It's a kind of little indulgence every time. If I see a Rendell piece of china and it's not full price, I get it. Which OGs around here will know about. This is talking of things that are kind of discussed and being kind of worked around. This is a very quick 2-minute sketch that I just wanted to preview to you all about potentially, well, we are going to refresh and rearrange and resort the conservatory out completely. If you've seen any of my tidying and sorting out videos, it's a room where I could do a day of putting away, tidying and cleaning up, and the moment I then do something in that room, it is a mess again. It's a mishmash of furniture that was pieced together to try and be a bit of a hybrid workroom, a bit of a and it just wasn't appropriate. It's a very difficult space. It doesn't have any heating built in, so it is freezing cold in the winter. And then in the summer, there is absolutely no air conditioning or filtration. And if we don't have a nice breezy summer day, it's impossible. The temperatures that have peaked in there are disgusting. So as a result, it's a room which I'm trying to make a concerted effort to use more rather than just have it shut down for half of the year. But as my needs for that room have changed, it's become incredibly difficult to maintain. And one of the needs for the room, and one of the things I want it to function as, is my reselling, listing, selling, processing type space. I don't need it for a workroom. I have the office that I'm filming in now, which will also be tweaked alongside this for that, because it's much more functional as an all year round room than being locked out of it basically because of the weather for 6 months of the year. So that's something that my dad is going to help with, and I've got down here a combined list of all of the available IKEA furniture that he has spare and I already have in my house. So we may not stick with this plan, but I just thought we'll give you an idea. And there is something here which is a tumble dryer. Now I don't own a tumble dryer. It's something that basically I've been told that I'm so allergic to grass pollen I'm actually off the official scale. I shouldn't laugh, but I now can't. It's highly recommended that I don't dry any of my stuff outside, and I don't own a tumble dryer. I never have done. So mum and dad have said that they will ever so kindly buy me a tumble dryer. The only place really it can go is in here because the garage is not appropriate. And so the room needs reworking. That is possibly going to happen the May Day week, first May Day. So not this weekend that we're on now, but next week, possibly. So yeah, I just thought, I was like, well, this is here. I need the pad anyway. I'll just show you guys where we're up to. But what I actually wanted to do, because obviously in my last video, I got lots of news and was very much like, oh gosh, there's so much going on. I kind of need to rework what the initial plan was going to be, because I wasn't assuming at all that I was going to have good news. I just thought with the way, and you guys have been here throughout April, it was, no matter how much I tried to kind of put a video that was just purely positive out in terms of good news, it was few and far between, and it was a rarity. And I'm really hoping that once I figure May out, because it's a month where if I just kind of, I've been playing with the budget as well, but that's a separate video. It's a month which is a little bit longer. I've got the half term in the very end, so I've got kind of a week. I'm back at work. I'm on half days. I've got a couple of bank holidays here and there. There's a couple of things that are happening. So it's a month where I just need to get my head round what's going on. It's not a month where, unlike April, there was I was that significantly down. In theory, I have covered the shortfall for May between the rollover and the anticipated money that I've got coming in. And now I'm at the point where actually I can just build on that and actually go ahead and build that £5,000 pot, and the best way to do it. So let's have a think. So of the £5,000 that I want to bring in, there is going to be made up of that already. It's about a £600 rollover. And that in itself is covering May's wage shortfall, which is fantastic. And that this is not £5,000 where I may get to save all of it. It was probably £5,000 where hopefully I can save some of it, and I will probably need to spend some of it as well, because I'm not 100%, like, until I find out what my wage slip is looking like at the end of May, I won't know for sure until then whether I'm getting half pay or not, and I want to be prepared for that to be the case. Like I said, I would love a live portal where employers literally show you what you have earned, including deductions up until that point, but that's just not there for us to find. So I've got that £600 rollover, and I already know, like I've said, that I am anticipating a buy me a coffee payout around the first week or so in May, and that first payout does take a little bit longer. And I know roughly, once, obviously it will depend on the exchange rate on the day, what it's going to look like there as well. And that's fantastic, because that can also potentially cover the extra things that I'm anticipating popping up throughout May and help me make some progress there. I'd love to, looking at the budget that I've already got that I'm working on, and it's not a finalised budget yet, go ahead and start introducing some of my debt minimums, and that money coming in from Buy Me a Coffee will allow me to do that. In terms of events in May, and that's in terms of things that I think are going to be going on, I have got the Warner Brothers Studios, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, because in hindsight I would have, so when I booked this, it was a birthday gift for my sister for her 30th birthday, and I just booked it and said to her, you go ahead and choose the date, book 2 gift tickets, and with a gift ticket you can pick your date up to 12 months. She picked this date in May because it's the opening of their new kind of limited time only part of the exhibition. So we're going to see the Tri-Wizard tournament display studio something. And at the time when I booked it, I was undergoing my master's. I had no intention of quitting my master's at the time. So I would have received this weekend, actually, after paying my fees, about £3,800, which I could just have to do with as I liked, in the same way that I received the student finance payment in September last year, and that covered my bills and a little bit of extras for then, and I got the unexpected extra payment in January, and that allowed me to kind of do some savings, etc., and get some stuff sorted there. I would have had that exact same payment. Obviously I withdrew from my master's, and in doing so I didn't receive that £3,800 payment, but when I booked this and said, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it, I remember saying to her when she opened it up for a birthday present, let's go ham on the gift shop, we're going to eat there, we're going to do all of these things. And obviously now you come round to it and just sitting there going like, oh, it's just the worst, it's the worst timing possible, but at the same time as well, it's like, this is something, and there will be these things that will pop up throughout your budgeting journey. If you're paying off debt, or if things aren't great, or you're going through a bit of a situation where you have committed and paid for a holiday, an event, a year, 2 years, 6 months before actions take place and before things happen. And it's kind of one of those things where you have to just go, this isn't ideal. This isn't the quote unquote right way to do this. I could do with it being kind of a month later, but this is where we are. And how do we go ahead and do it? And how do we do it in a way where it's not going to have a negative impact overall on the budget, and the main core things are covered? So any debt payments, any like fees or memberships to other places, your bills, your four walls, all of that. And then you kind of go, okay, well, I've got to do this. It's a one-off thing. To go, enjoy it, make the most of it. I'm going to view it as a small reward for the horrendous Q2 that I've had, really, in terms of health and life, and just embedded in, and also motivation to put myself in a situation so that actually I can go and enjoy these things more. And if I want to go ham in the gift shop next time, I will. Whatever money I can pull together towards it. I mean, we're eating there. It's something that she's very excited about, and like I said, it's a birthday gift. So, but I mean, you're talking like £25 for a burger and chips, and I know prices have gone up, but yeah, all of that there, plus half on fuel money and things like that. So before you've even gone to a gift shop or gone to do a thing or gone to get the guidebook or any of those kind of extra stuff that comes with those days out, you're already £50 in the hole, basically. And so it is one that's just kind of popping up in a couple of weekends' time. That's 3 weeks today, where I'm going to be open and say, this is how much I'm taking. This is how much I've spent. I know it's not ideal timing wise, but here we are. But it is something that's popping up. What I want to try and do, if I can, is not use the money that I will receive from Buy Me a Coffee, etc., and places like that, and instead take it from vintage sales or from I'm going to do a car boot the weekend before as well, and take the money from there instead, and then try and ring fence the money from Buy Me a Coffee for boosting up May's additional stuff. That's what I'm going to try and do with that there, because I know that money donated through Buy Me a Coffee is not there for me I don't feel like I should use it for Warner Brothers Studios. For perspective, I've got about £60 pending in my Vinted balance anyway, and I have got some orders to dispatch out. So, in theory, through Vinted, I have already covered the fuel money, the food, the obligatory butterbeer drink that you kind of have when you go round. So that in itself is sorted. I've also got carpets being fitted at some point in May. Don't run out on me now, pen. In fact, you can go because you are dying a death. So I've got carpets being fitted. This, in terms of how it impacts on me from a budgeting perspective, means that I need to have gone through this room and my bedroom, have pulled out anything that I want to list, sell, get rid of, organise, and get that done. Furniture moved around, and all of the preeminent DIY taken place in terms of the conservatory downstairs, and have those spaces sorted. So I'll need to structure my time, but also really, really plough heavily forward on with the listing and the sorting out. And that's possibly a this week job. And then in line with that as well, I have what I call permission to paint. Know that I am not committing to painting, but I have permission to paint. I don't know and have no control over what colour of carpets go in. I have asked for a beige or a grey or something very kind of neutral and unoffensive and goes with everything. I don't know that I'm going to get that. It's something that's a bit like, I'm in two minds about it. Dad, who would be doing the painting for me, because in his words, under your state of health, you're not doing the painting, sorry. Dad's in two minds about it. I know a few of you in my comments already from last video are like, also in two minds about it. Someone asked the question, is it an indicator that it could potentially want to come at, carpets being fitted and permission to paint? Is that an indicator that they were basically refreshing the property with the intention of taking it off you? Not necessarily. It's a real grey area. The accepted rule of thumb, which is not always applied and is independent to each landlord, is that things like carpets, and even if you're just repainting the walls magnolia, should be done every 5 years, and ideally at the change of a tenancy if they are horrendously worn. In my case, the carpets were badly worn, noted on an inspection that they were worn and in need of replacement 5 years ago, and I've now been here 5 years. They are so bad that we're at the point where if I hoover them, they don't pick up because the pile is just completely flat. So I have one of those carpet scraper things, which is amazing, but that means I'm literally on my hands and knees, severe asthmatic here with multiple allergies, carpet scraping carpet, and it just will not shift. So they need to be replaced. They do need to be changed. That's kind of, if you have a good landlord, that's a responsibility that they undertake. Part of the money that you pay for them as rent ideally is set aside for kind of wear and tear replacement stuff, things like that. So in theory, it should be something that you are paying for over time anyway. Obviously, this is unique to each individual landlord, and permission to paint is very, very, very much independent for each landlord as well. Some of them are like, yeah, go for it, but if you paint it bright magenta pink, you're going to have to put it back to magnolia at the end of your tenancy. Some of them are like, yeah, you can paint, but they need to be light or neutral based colours, so that way if we want to keep them, it's a neutral based thing. Some of them are like, no, it has to be magnolia, you can't paint at all, or yes, you can paint, but it can only be a white or an off-white shade. And some just go absolutely no decorating whatsoever. My landlord and letting agency say, yes, you can paint, but it can't be bold, it can't be overly bright, it can't be an offensive colour. I don't know what that means. And because they kind of acknowledge that it's a little bit of independence that you can have as tenants in terms of the appearance and the presentation of your home, the letting agents are very keen to have long-standing tenants who have been in the properties for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 plus years, because for them as well, it's less work on them. And it's definitely something that I got permission to paint the walls white, for example, in the living room 2 years into my tenancy, and that's because it was such a dark room that they were fine with it. And then we just cheekily went ahead and did the bathrooms and whitewashed the bathrooms, and they had no problems there. This was before I started the channel, so I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and paint. I'll wait and see what happens with the carpets. I'll wait and see what the cost implications are. But I have permission to paint, and that's something that I might want to bear in mind. But based on the cost of a 2.5 litre paint, God, when did that go up in price? For perspective, I think I paid 3 years ago. I got a 10 litre just white emulsion. I think it was matte. Was it matte or silk? Just a basic white tub of paint, 10 litres for interior walls and skirting boards and stuff, and it was like 25 quid. It's now like £30 for a colour per tin for 2.5. Yeah. So that's that. Then, so there's a lot of kind of things going on there. Within that as well, I think that I know it's really weird. Have you seen those like Stacey Solomon Sort Your Life Out or Marie Kondo thing where they get everything and just dump it in the floor into piles? I think I need to do that with the stuff I want to sell and the stuff I intend on selling, so that I can actually get a good idea of what I can generate through this. At the moment, I've just been handling pieces one by one, or sitting there going, today I'm going to deal with this bag for life of stuff I've randomly pulled, or today I'm going to deal with the fabric, or today I'm going to deal with the craft, or today I'm going to deal with the books. And then I kind of open up another box and go, oh yeah, I can get rid of you. Or I look around a room and go, oh yeah, I can get rid of you. So I don't actually have any idea of what the stuff I'm selling I could get for it. And if I think about this target of £5,000, that's kind of a big thing. I don't know if I'm already sitting on, say, £5,000 worth of stuff without me needing to go out and buy more to sell, or without me needing to top it up with YouTube donations, or not YouTube donations, or YouTube payouts. Do I need to incorporate those, or can I treat them separately? Do I need to incorporate the Etsy side of it, or treat that separately? Do I need to incorporate fully, like, do I have just in and around the house, especially as it's all going through and being organised, and the two kind of big rooms that are hoarders of stuff are going to be sorted, do I have £5,000 worth of stuff anyway? And that was kind of a moment yesterday where I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So I don't have the answer to this, by the way. I don't know for sure. I'm still very much of the I'm going to get rid of stuff. In January of this year, before I got sick, this was the year where I'm going to clear out and I'm going to have a sort out, and obviously where I'm going through and moving out and moving things around and reorganising places as well. There is already furniture that will be disappearing regardless of the fact that I'm staying in the house, etc. So I think I've possibly got between £3,500 and £4,000 worth of stuff to sell if I were to get my asking price for that stuff. That ranges from a 20p, have a rummage bin at a car boot sale, all the way up to the £70 Charles Tewett wool jacket. There is a real range of stuff that I can shift and get rid of. I don't know if I can get rid of it all in May, and I'm quite keen to grow that secondary source of income. And I do have an eye for walking past something for £2 and being able to flip it and sell it for 28, or picking up a piece of fabric, a bundle of fabric for a tenner, and getting a lot of fabric, so much so that it's like 83p per piece, and then immediately selling one thing for 20, and I'm then plus 10, and everything else is just profit. Or picking up a pair of mugs on 3 for £1, and 2 of the mugs are worth £15 each. So I have an eye for stuff like that I really can't ignore. And at the same time, I have stuff that, even with the amount of stuff I have already sold, it's still not a drop in the ocean. I'm really tempted to go ahead and do that big pile of I can sell this stuff. This is all the things I have to sell. Like, literally pile it into the bedroom on the bed. If it falls out the sides, it's fine. And I'm actually really tempted to get the camera out and go, this is everything I've got to sell, and this is everything I can sell, and this is everything I've pulled out and said goodbye to. If you want to see that, let me know. I know some of you that kind of struggle with or may struggle with kind of stuff being organised or unorganised or messy or a bit chaotic. It might be a video that you will struggle to watch, and I do accept that I have those viewers, but I don't know what I've got because there's so much of it. And I'm not going to include any of the savings challenges that I've created or anything like that. And I think the furniture might be a cluster of furniture in the garage. But let me know what you think. I think I've got £3,500 to £4,000 worth of stuff to sell. List. Process. I think in the process of going through and processing all of the processing, because we love the word processing, I will also realise that actually I've been trying to shift this on Vinted for 2+ years. Let's just charity shop it and get it gone and go through and have that refresh process. Trying to film that full refresh process is incredibly hard because I can't just sit a camera up and then all of a sudden I appear sorting through it all. That's not what I want to do. But how many days? So we've got 32 days here. Can't have a sneak peek of the budget early, guys. That's cheating. I will talk to you in a second. I just always forget to put in a number in the dates. "30 days have September, April, June, and November." Okay, so the 30th of June gives me 62 total calendar days. I think that takes me to the 75 days that I've said. So over the next 62 days, starting Monday, but because I will prep it this weekend and go through and work out where that is, can I pull the big pile of stuff together that I want to sell and then go ahead and actually see if I can shift and reduce that pile down a little bit more? What's helpful is the fact that I'm going to need to pull all of that stuff together, because I need to know what I have, because I need to know where I'm storing it and can it all fit in one place, because it's then going to it can't overspill to the rest of the house. Basically, it's going to creep in where it can't creep in. Alongside that, if I do see the items which I can kind of flip and turn around, do I get them but hold them until after and hold them separately, and then they kind of be the launch of something new? I don't know. There's lots of different ideas, but don't forget, I said I was looking to start increasing. If I go to my goals, see, I love it. This is a planning video. This is me working through and spitballing a few plans. So if you've not pulled up a coffee and just gone, okay, Nicole's going for it, then, come join in the chaos. Here we go. So, yeah, stable additional £250 a month income, meet the monthly YouTube earnings for YouTube, grow the £250 to £500 per month additional income, work on growing the £500 to £1,000 per extra. So, and how I'm going to do that, so get an extra £250 per month in for May 2025, and then increase this to £500 per month from that point. I'm fairly sure I've done this, but obviously we're not yet in May and we need to review it at the end of May, and then further increase to a stable £200 a week, average £800 to £1,000 per month. Is that wet by the end of the June? Okay, so let's go ahead and say that Warner Brothers Studios is going to come from Vinted. Fantastic. The Buy Me a Coffee is going to cover the Buy Me a Coffee restart. The rollover that I bring into May is going to make up the shortfall on May's wages. Therefore, the Buy Me a Coffee income is going to cover any emergency pop-ups and also start to kind of be a function and build from there. It may be that I go ahead and make a little bit of an extra payment to debt, or it may be that I go ahead and resume some savings and try and start those savings challenges, or do a mixture of the both and try and use that to get that kick started. Then carpets being fitted, permission to paint, etc. That's probably also going to come from Vinted as and when I see it. In terms of that, I already know, because as a YouTube channel I can see my forecasted potential earnings for May based on how my videos have performed so far in April. I already know that the combination of YouTube income and the fact that I've got £60 pending in my Vinted balance means that without any Buy Me a Coffee donations or Etsy purchases or shop purchases, I have made the £250 per month extra. That therefore tells me that if I maintain a rate of good quality content, regular videos, so that the algorithm picks me up, and the consistent regular listing on Vinted, I should definitely be able to hit the £250 per month in target with that combination, and potentially increase it to £500 a month. Obviously, May come and it's all good news and people decide they don't want to watch my videos, which is absolutely fine. Don't forget I'm returning to work and it'll probably not be smooth sailing. So if you're here for the drama, there will probably be drama at some point. It's going to be the increasing it to the stable, repeating £200 per week. And I think that is where the mix of an element of, if I'm out and I see something to flip and resell, I put that item to one side until I have cleared my own things. if that makes sense. I like it. Bowie likes it. What are you doing? You are looking adorbs. You want to see the cat? Hello. What are you doing? What are you doing? You good boy? He's so sweet. Look at the beans. Look at the toe beans. Look at them. He has pink beans. Look at his little face. His little face. Hi. So for perspective, for example, this room is a hodgepodge of a room. Over through there is the costume storage closet, as was. Instead now, a little bit of show and tell. It is instead turning into I need to shift stuff and sell stuff, and there is just stuff everywhere, and trying to get it a bit more organised and trying to work with furniture that I already have. This desk is probably going, and then this is the guest bed mattress, which Bowie has just claimed. This is a pile of stuff that I need to go through and list and sort out. We've got a bag down there of stuff that's already been listed. I've got whoopsie bundles that I'm making up. I've got that useless corner piece which I'll probably shift and sell, that bit of kind of something there which can go ahead and sell. All of this is going to be rearranged and moved, and then we come back to the filming spot and the rather unorthodox way that I have stored everything so far. So it's a room which does need work and organising. It is also a room which is being recarpeted and refitted, so everything will shift around, and same for the bedroom and stuff like that. So there are things which will change, basically. It's going to be quite an active month. Thankfully, I have people helping with the physical side of it, because I would struggle with it. And from a workspace perspective, I'm doing form time, and our lessons are 100-minute long. So form time, and then lesson 1, and then I'm home. So I'll be back by about by 12 latest. And we'll see how it goes. I am obviously concerned. It's when the trust has been broken, it's very hard to bring it back. However, I've got a focus for the afternoons and a focus for the evenings, and then if the conservatory move around, if I can get Dad to go ahead and give up a day, because he was like, I can do this in a day, I just need to give you a plan. I need you to give me a plan. So early initial thoughts: tumble dryer goes near the conservatory door, have this desk / bench potentially completely open, or swap it so that that's there. I've got the IKEA Kallax 4.2 2x4 4x2 unit there, which is already in place, and then I've also got an additional kind of raised platform which I can take on and off. That sits there. That's at the minute where things mainly get photographed. I've got a box light here. I've also got another box light in the garage which I can bring in, and then there are 2 existing wardrobes that are there. They're falling apart. Rip them out, replace them either with the Billy bookcases, or Dad will utilise the frames and kind of reinforce and shelve them. So this will be all open shelving and all open racking here. And then there's another, there we go, I've got another 2x4 Kallax, which is literally off to the side of me here. I can bring that downstairs, turn it on its side, have that as open cubes, and then the conservatory shelves are like this wide. And then what Dad has started to do is he's actually started to get the 2x2 Kallax and shave them in half so that they're not 30, they're not the full width, so they're like 25 wide or 25 deep, and actually stack them up the back on this wall and have this as an open desk, sewing machine potentially there working on them. And then we've got the tumble dryer down here with the little, I think there's a condenser thing, and there's a little window up here which can just be opened. That's completely fine. Same for this one. So I'll take this to him and we'll rework it through. I will try and film that as best I can, and try and film around my dad, because he will not want to appear on camera, because from a business perspective, like, he is retired but consulting, so he will not want to be appearing on camera. So I'll try and get that filmed for you as well as a different style video and take you through the house and everything that's changing. In terms of will I paint, I don't know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to delivering some different style content as per usual in May. I think that it would be good to kind of give you a bit more of a snapshot, as well as kind of a back to kind of more regular budgeting content and how those goals are going. So I guess this video has just been a bit of a review of April so far and what I want to happen in May. I'm going to love you and leave you and let you guys go enjoy your weekend, and I will see you tomorrow with another video, possibly a budget preview. Hope you have a fantastic budgeting week wherever you are in the world. Bye bye for now.